On this episode of the Everything Goes podcast, we discuss college football playoffs that are happening this weekend. Trevor Bauer is being reinstated. Which MLB team will take a shot at him? And we discuss Week 17 predictions as we get close to the playoffs. Stay tuned.
Been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
Welcome back to the Everything Goes podcast with your host, TAK. We hope you had a great Christmas and a great New Year's coming up as we get ready for that ball drop. But hey, 90 days until MLB baseball is back. We have a lot to discuss with that, and Trevor Bauer being back in the league. Aaron Judge, AP Athlete of the Year, as he wins in vote-ins over Shohei Ohtani and Steph Curry. Wow. Hey, teams are fighting for the playoffs with 2 weeks left as the wild card is tight, especially for the NFC. And the Cowboys get that W last night, beating up a banged-up Titans in back-to-back 12-win seasons, and that hasn't happened since 1994 and 1995. Welcome back, guys.
You did your homework on the Cowboys. I'm surprised.
Hey, that was also the last time they won a Super Bowl.
Big game for them last night too. I know we don't have to. We can touch upon NFL later, but what are your quick thoughts on the game last night, Chris?
Just one word. Dude, think about one word.
We'll give you a full
done.
Sentence.
One and done. No, I'll break it down. I have playoff predictions. Then with you and I, all of us will go through then about my top teams in the playoffs, and we'll break that down. But I just we had too many injuries. We had two safeties go down last night, and Dak, like his knee, the way he landed at one time was scary. So we'll get into that later.
22 injured, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
Ty will get into that later. I'm like playing police officer already.
Well, Ace, how was your Christmas?
I was good. I was talking to you guys a little bit before. The food spread for both nights was absolutely delicious.
It's the best part.
No complaints there. Plus, I got to hanging out with the family again was pretty nice to see. I saw my cousin's newborn baby Catherine, so shout out to their addition to the family. So. Overall, very fun.
Did you experience any of that cold winter weather that came down?
Yeah, I mean, it was before Christmas, thankfully.
He's in Minnesota. Of course he did.
Well, I know it gets cold, but I mean, temperatures were crazy during that storm.
It was not like the fluctuation that you were describing last time, Chris, where it went from like 50 down to 7 or 2 or whatever the case. But it was definitely around the negatives until Christmas. Christmas, it got up to like the teens. We are all kind of
still
more
cold.
Excited. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
did you have a white Christmas? Was there snow on the ground?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh,
there was a little
frozen.
snow still on the snow for us, on the ground for us too.
I'm getting evergreen trees, by the way. Those things are so pretty when the snow is falling on them. I love that.
It's funny. Ty got to experience Colorado's coldest days, and then he got the experience. I mean, 43 degrees here is not as like 43 degrees you'd expect. It's actually pretty damn warm. The sun's hot. Like today, it was in the 30s, and you could walk around in a t-shirt. That's how the sun just feels different here.
Well, it was 78 degrees here today, so I walked on the t-shirt and shorts.
That's too hot for me.
And he says,
honestly,
the pool ain't ready yet. Oh,
it feels like spring right now. It doesn't really feel like summer. Like yesterday at work, it was chilly. Like I was comfy wearing my pants, and I wasn't sweating. It was a little chilly, but. Hey, happy to be back in Florida. It was nice in Colorado. It took me a little to get used to that cold weather, but seeing the mountains was beautiful, and it was a good time. And
you know the thing that's funny, Ace, is we prepared all these different. We went grocery shopping to prepare all these freaking meals for Tyler. You know, like meatloaf, all these things that he hasn't had in a while, and we didn't get a chance to make any of them because my wife's family was like made meal after meal after meal everywhere we went.
I just remember that we didn't cook dinner at all.
Yeah, the only meal I made was Christmas Eve. That was it. I mean, we had like Sunday. We're going over to my wife's family's again, and oh my God, they're gonna have menudo and they're gonna have burritos and smothered burritos with green chili. Yep, that's why I have a weight problem.
And your team won, so you get to relax too for Sunday. You don't got to stress over it. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm off Monday too, which is great.
Yes.
All right, let's dive. I got a four-day weekend this week too, so I'm excited about that. Let's dive into what's happening this weekend. Obviously, we got TCU versus Michigan, we got Georgia versus Ohio State, we got some bowl games going on. But let's talk about the playoffs because that's where the money's made. That's where it's all happening right now. And I got all my Michigan merch ready to go for tomorrow.
It's gonna be a tough game. It really
Go
is. You know,
blue,
this
go
is
blue.
this is what you work hard for all season long. And Michigan is going to be the healthiest they've been in a while. They're getting some key players back. Donovan Edwards, who's still playing with the cast, is going to be a little more healthy than he was. It's going to help in the running game. That guy had 400 yards rushing in 2 games. Mike Morris, who has been out since I think the Nebraska game, he's coming back. That's going to be huge for the defensive line. And TCU they're actually getting Quentin Johnson back, one of their best receivers in football. So Duggins is going to have one of his best receivers back. It's going to be a shootout, and I just think Michigan gets pressure on them. It's going to help, but we'll see what happens.
Is there any news on Quorum? Is
Quorum's done?
Did he get surgery? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's done, and he's debating whether to enter the NFL draft or come back for another season. But the key is can Michigan get their running game going? And usually TCU plays their defense as a 3-3-5 structure, so it should be able to open up holes for Michigan. The key for Michigan, though, is can the receivers get open? And when they are open, can JJ, who actually came out and said he was struggling with an arm injury, is actually feeling 100%?
Nice.
Can he hit those guys that are wide open? Can he hit them and make it count where he has overthrown a lot of players in the past?
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I was just going to say that, so he's going to have to beat him with the throw.
One thing I don't like either, I don't like how long of a break it's kind of been since the last game they had. What's it been, like 2 weeks?
3.
It's been longer than that, yeah.
I don't like that, man. I hate
the rumors you get. Like, you get all the rumors of Jim Harbaugh going to the Colts, and it's got to be bad for him. He's trying to focus on a championship run here, and then you got all this crap in the news, what puts doubt in his players' minds. I mean, look what Deion did. Deion just up and left and went to Colorado. Mm-hmm. So these guys, they don't need to be worrying about that stuff. They need to be worried about one thing, and that's TCU.
I think this is the year that if he would go in the NFL, I feel like this would be it. I don't think he's gonna. I think he made that loud and clear last year. But you think about a lot. You think there's a lot of job openings, I feel like, this year in the NFL. So
he made a big enough stink last time that I think they put the hammer down Michigan, saying, "Hey, we need you to commit, because every year you could basically pull this stunt on us to get more money."
Yeah, I mean, what kind of contract isn't he in, like a little bit of a big contract, or is he like a free agent kind of thing this year?
No, he's under contract. They signed an extension, but I just hate when that stuff pops up. Let that for the off season. But you know what, Duggins, I'm worried about this quarterback. He's probably going to be one of the best that we've seen all year besides Stroud. 64.9% completion rate, 3,321 yards passing, 30 touchdowns. He can also run, which is scary. So they're going to have their hands full with him, and Michigan's going to have to find a way to get pressure on him. Everyone's picking Michigan. I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say Michigan, but I think it's going to be a shootout. I really do. I think
where's it at?
going to have it's in Arizona, I believe.
Because I think the Georgia game's in Atlanta, isn't it?
Which is a home game for them.
Yeah, it's a home game for them.
Yeah. Look, I said this before in the past, and I'm going to say it again. This is Georgia's championship to lose.
I believe so. I agree.
I just think Georgia is the better team of all the teams that are in this. I think they're a bigger team. We've seen it last year when Michigan played them in the first round of the playoffs, and they were just it was like a high school team playing college kids.
It was. Their big boys are big.
I'm actually rooting for Ohio State. I want to see them knock Georgia off because I don't want another Alabama. I just
could you imagine a Michigan Ohio State championship game? Like, could you imagine that? But see, the thing with that is I have a lot on the line down here in Florida. There's a lot of Ohio State fans that I know. And I know we beat them this year. That's all I needed. I don't need to lose to them in the championship game, because I'll never hear the end of that.
Yeah, that would be brutal. That would be, but I agree. I think Georgia's depth on both sides of the defense and offensive line are probably going to make up the difference for sure in that game, and likely overall. But what are the keys, I guess, for Michigan to beat TCU?
Pressure.
Okay.
You can't let this quarterback, who is a Heisman finalist, pick you apart. You have got to get pressure on him. If you don't get pressure on him, like we didn't get pressure on CJ Stroud. We dropped back and we played coverage better, but you can't. This guy's going to run. Yeah. So you got to get pressure on him.
But you say we're a little bit healthier too, so I'm hoping that helps a lot of rest to get these legs healthy. I think also for Ohio State, I think this is a big chance for CJ Stroud. He lost to Michigan 2 years in a row. Is it 2 years in a row now, right? Mm-hmm. He talked about that interview, like if they get the playoff chances, they get him. But I want to see if he takes this chance for granted, or if he really, pulls the trigger and he pedal to the metal, kind of takes it off here and shows the draft and everybody in the NFL, all the people watching, like, hey, I know I lost some big games. I'm still that good quarterback that can win these games. Like if he beats Georgia, that's huge.
That would be huge. That would, yeah.
That's a big, because Georgia's,
Man,
everyone's picking Georgia to win. I mean, heck, even we are picking Georgia to win as Michigan fans.
Well, I think the same is said for Michigan too. I feel like the majority of the people are picking both those teams because they want to see that again.
Yeah.
But
it would be huge. But I just think the key for Michigan is you're going to have to take a safety over the top and double team Quentin. Keep Johnson from getting the ball, because when he gets the ball, man, he can take a 5-yard pass and turn it into a 20-yarder real quick.
Oh, okay. So that's their
the
weapon.
Key. But my prediction, my prediction, and you guys can give yours. I'm saying Michigan, Georgia. Unfortunately,
I am going to say Michigan 37, TCU 33.
You gotta do scores like that. I'm terrible with math.
Michigan.
Who do you pick for the championship?
I think Georgia rolls big time.
You know me, my hot picks, man. You know me and my
Ohio
hot
State
picks.
is talented. Ohio State, if they can block, they can keep up point for point, I think, with Georgia, but I just don't know where an upset's gonna be. Come on, Ty. Come on, Ty. You were feeling it before.
I'm definitely taking Michigan. I think Georgia's the obvious answer. I'm torn because I'll be honest. I could see Ohio State winning this game. I can. I think Georgia's the big boys. They got the great defense. They got a good offense. I'm going to go with Georgia. I think that Ohio State has a chance to upset them. I mean, heck, any given Sunday, they say in NFL, but this is Georgia's game to lose. It's simple as that. Ohio State's the underdogs. I don't know enough about either team, but Georgia's clearly the better option here. But I just think Ohio State has a huge chip on their shoulder. Like they're the forgotten kids. Like they're not supposed to be here, but they're in.
Yeah, that chip on their shoulder for sure is real. That's why I think no matter what, it'll probably be competitive.
Yeah,
more, like at least till halftime.
Or they step in that stadium and Georgia steps in their throats, and it's like you should never have been here.
Yeah. It could be a quick.
Good.
It was just gonna suck though. They should have had that in a neutral facility. They should have had that like in the middle of the country somewhere.
Yeah,
or had it in like North Dakota, or had it somewhere on the West Coast. It's gonna be a Georgia home game. It's gonna be a home game for Georgia.
I'm so down for they should make playoffs home fields until you get to the Super Bowl era, till you get the championship. You know what I mean? Like it should be home field advantage. Like, could you imagine the big house for this game against TCU? Like that crowd would be insane. The biggest college football team, I believe, as far as attendance goes. Like I have that place would be.
They already have plans for 2024. They're going to have more bowl games that are going to have college football playoff rights now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should. So it's always the same stadiums.
So who are you saying, Ty? Georgia? Are you saying, what are you saying?
I think we all took Michigan, Georgia.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. But I'll be rooting for Ohio State as hard as I'm going to have to.
Not me.
I'm rooting for them. Expanding playoffs from 4 to 12 in 2024. Additional game inventory is expected to generate $450 million in gross revenue over the final 2 years of the current TV contract and billions more in years ahead. Playoff expansion beneficiary teams will be the Power 5 conference and their member schools, who will likely receiving most of the additional opportunities, exposure, and revenue. New Year's 6 bowls, which will now host annual playoff games. See that those are the games that you see, like the 31st and the 1st and the 2nd. They're all going to get playoff games now. And college football playoffs, future broadcast partners, Fox and possibly maybe Amazon, players and schools within the other 5 bowl subdivision conferences. ESPN is like the biggest bowl holder. I think they broadcast like 40 bowl games a season. They hold the college football playoffs for the next 2 years. So they have expanded rights into 2024 and 2025. It's the last 2 years of the current contract. Fox will then get a portion of those games in the next broadcast cycle. So there's going to be a lot of people making money, man, in this new playoff format.
I don't know why they have to wait till 2024 to do more
They could just do it next
playoffs.
year. I mean,
I don't get why. Is it that hard that you can't figure out how to do that next year and what sponsors to bring in and what stadiums to use? And if you can't find out stadiums, and just use home field stadiums for the best seeds. I don't understand why we got to wait another year.
Yeah, that's a lot of negotiations across. Like, who communicates with
billions of dollars?
Yeah, wow.
But there's like 40 some bowl games. I mean, it's not a hard concept to figure out when you're going to start the playoffs and when you're going to have the championship. I mean, if it runs into February, it runs into February. Who cares? You know what I mean?
And I'll be honest. I think bowl games are pointless since they've done playoffs. Like if I'm in a bowl game, this is just my personal opinion. If Michigan was in a bowl game, I'd be like, sure, this is cool, but no one that's going in the draft is going to play because it's not playoffs. So like, what's the point of even playing? Like, what am I getting out of it? You know what I mean? It's not a championship.
Outside of swag, it almost feels diminished when you have the playoffs
expanding. Yes, 100%. That's how I feel about it.
For sure.
You know when it changed for me? It changed for me when the Rose Bowl was no longer a Big Ten bowl game. You know, the Big Ten always played the Pac-12 in the bowl game. You know, that was the highlight of you had the Rose Bowl parade, and then it was usually Michigan, Penn State, somebody battling it out with the Pac-10, Big 12 team or whatever it was in the Rose Bowl. You know, all you had was the number 1 team versus the number 2 team in the country for the championship, and that was it. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be more interesting now, I guess. It's going to be something different. You're going to have teams who never thought they had a chance in the world to make a playoffs that are going to get in now, and that can make a run. You always get those sleeper teams that make runs as anything can happen.
Yeah, no. I'm telling you, man, like I think with an expanded playoffs, you're going to see more teams fighting.
Yeah. Well, I have a college football. I'm actually, how many bowl games have any of you guys watched?
None. Not any.
I mean, the Gophers, a little bit of that yesterday because they played Syracuse. They won, baby.
Let's go, Gophers.
Dude, I heard the field conditions were so bad in New York's Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
They said it was horrible.
Because of all the snow and stuff?
No, like the turf was coming up, like the field.
Yeah.
They had turf down there? It's the real grass. It was probably rough. Heck yeah. I mean, they got all that snow, man. It's probably been terrible.
Yeah. But anyway, I have college football winners and losers for the rest of the year. I only picked out a handful. Oregon State actually destroyed Florida 30-3 to get to 10 wins for the first time since 2006, the first bowl win since 2013. Florida State is a winner. They have won 10 games for the first time since 2016 after a 35-32 win over Oklahoma.
Come on, get in that Tomahawk chant, baby.
It's the first bowl win since the 2017 and a huge boost for the program who can challenge Clemson next year for the ACC. Fresno State, this is actually pretty good. Fresno State started the season 1-4 and closed out the season with a 9 consecutive win streak. First team in FBS history to get to 10 wins after losing 4 of the first 5. Washington, you know, it's funny because some of these schools like Florida State dominated when I was in the 90s, man. It was always Florida State, Florida. That's all you heard about. These teams are coming back again. Washington, who used to dominate all the time out there, is finally coming back. 4-8 in 2021, capped off a great turnaround by beating Texas 27-20, finished the season with 11 wins, the most since 2016. Air Force, surprisingly, the best team in Colorado, finished their third double-digit win season in 4 years. They won 11-2 in 2019, 3-3 in 2020, the COVID year, and 10-3 in their last 2 seasons. Southern Miss, this is amazing. Frank Gore Jr., everyone knows his dad, Frank Gore, one of the second-best rusher in football, set an all-time bowl record rushing yards with 329 on 21 carries. The last record was 317 yards. This kid has just crushed it. Probably opened up a lot of eyes for himself. So we'll see what happens. The losers.
He's a tank. I bet he is a cement truck to try. Yeah. A cement, like a little. Just picture that thing coming down the hill at you.
North and South runners are always my favorite kind of runners, man. North and South, you find the hole. Those guys that sweep to the outside, forget it. They're done.
So is he projected to go to the NFL soon? Like maybe
I don't know
what year he is.
I don't know, honestly. Losers, Oklahoma finished 6-7 after a 35-32 loss to Florida State. Oklahoma State, who started the season 6-1 and finished 7-6 after losing 24-17 to Wisconsin.
Dude, they were good first at one point.
Yeah. San Diego State turned the ball over. Listen to this. This was amazing. I had to write this one down, and no one even cares about San Diego State. San Diego State turned the ball over 5 times in a 25-23 loss to Middle Tennessee State. The Blue Raiders, who are Middle Tennessee State, had 170 total yards in the win and threw for 236 yards. Yes, I did say 236 yards and only had a total of 170. This is the kicker. They had a remarkable negative 66 yards on 30 attempts and still won the game.
Rushing?
Yes. That is crazy. That is crazy. And sacks too as well. So they won that game with negative 66 yards on 30 attempts. Crazy.
Rushing. That's incredible. Yes. I love that.
And that's all I have on college football until next week when Michigan goes to the championship.
Wow.
Shame on you, San Diego State. Shame on you. Oh, my God, that's brutal.
Well, hey, MLB's back in 90 days.
Yes.
Big headlines right now. Obviously, is the whole Trevor Bauer thing going on. He was suspended 324 games. He was supposed to miss the entire 2022 season, the entire 2023 season, but out of nowhere,
Mhm.
which I haven't heard anything in a long time. They reinstated him. Obviously, I know you got some stuff on him, Dad. The only thing I really got on Trevor Bauer right now is I know that they have till January 6th to decide what they want to do with his future as far as the organization, because there are players in the clubhouse that want him somewhere else. So a lot of people are expecting the Dodgers to move him. Do
I
you
didn't know
think
that.
there are a lot of teams right now that would want Trevor Bauer with everything that has come out, whether it was true or not? Because obviously he's thrown all of his evidence out there on media, so everyone knows exactly how it went down. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I'll take him. I mean, he's got $100 million contract though, so I don't know what happens with that.
But the kicker is if the Dodgers release him, they will have to pay his 2023 season, meaning that if he were to get picked up by anybody, they would acquire a former Cy Young Award winner at an unheard of discount. Bauer could come he does come with baggage. Let's face it. He's the locker room president. Is horrible.
He's always
a lot
had
of
that.
people don't like him, but his baggage is worth the risk. He's an elite starting pitcher, and you're going to get him for virtually free. It could be the greatest bargain addition in sports history. If I'm the New York Yankees, I'm taking him.
The only thing though is I'm pretty sure he's come out before and said he hates the Yankees. He doesn't want to go to New York.
But you're a guy who's been suspended for almost 2 seasons. You need to come back. This might be your only team that takes you.
I like how he tweeted out. He's like, "Get ready for the vlogs to come back."
Oh, he is. He's pretty vocal too against MLB as well as like Rob Manfred and just rule changes in general, and trying to disclose some myths and like obvious truths about what's going on that maybe is kept behind the scenes, especially when it comes to spin rate and other things for pitching.
I think that's why people love his
Twins.
Yeah, I think that's why people love his vlogs too, because he shows the inside of MLB. Like I remember, like he did the one vlog where he was like, "This is how we use tack," and he would pull the sweat from his hair, tap the ball, put some the bag, can't think of the name, the rosin bag, and he would just keep doing it. And before you knew it, the ball was sticky. And he's like, just showing different ways, and I love that. He does come with a lot of baggage. Obviously, you saw when he got pulled from Cleveland, he launches the ball over center field. He's got some weird methods of stretching and throwing. He doesn't get along with all of his teammates, so that is a lot to take on. But like you say, he's a Cy Young Award winning pitcher. He's a great pitcher when he is in that zone. I mean, he was pitching
go ahead, finish.
I was just gonna say, like, when he would square off against the Padres, when the Padres were coming up like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, like those matchups were huge. I love when he would strike them out and he'd pull out like the fake sword and he'd stab it down his waist. Oh man, like it's fun to watch. So I'm curious to see what the Dodgers do here and who would even be interested to bring him in.
Would the risk be worth the reward, though? I mean, you think about it. If the Dodgers are paying his 2023 season and you don't work out an extension with him,
100%.
You come in, we see how you do this season,
100%.
And then we'll talk, negotiate.
I mean, you think about
him, you can cut him anytime and it won't cost you anything.
Yeah, because you think about
Dodgers. Sorry, couldn't the Dodgers just blackball him and not release him, but not really play him either?
They'd have
to pay him. They'd have to pay him.
But they're not going to want to release him though either.
I think they will if there's a lot of players saying like we don't want him on the team. But I'd be like, hey, I'm the owner. Screw you guys. He's staying on the team.
Yeah. If I was the owner, I'd be like, all right, you guys deal with crappy people all the time or difficult, whatever. Deal with it. Like, come on.
I mean, and that, like you said, that like if I'm a Yankees manager, I mean, you think about the rotation you already have this offseason with Gossman, however you say it, Rodon. I don't know why I said Gossman. Rodon.
Cole,
you know, you have
Bauer.
Cole, you have Nestor. You know what I mean? Like that's a stacked lineup.
Come on.
That getting Bauer for practically nothing gets you a
step closer to the World Series.
Absolutely.
As long as everyone can stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge factor.
You got Judge coming back. You know what I mean? You still have the pretty much same team.
Oh my God. Health.
I just wonder, like you said, Ace, if the Dodgers hold on to him and try to trade him.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're not going to they cannot afford to release him for nothing. There's no way they would. I mean, that'd be as everyone
is reporting that they're probably like, this is the New York Post that are saying the Dodgers are this is per John Heyman of the New York Post. The Dodgers are expected to release the right-handed pitcher because the people in their clubhouse would prefer he is elsewhere.
But
I want to see what his contract is.
I think
He,
he's owed like.
I have it right here. He signed where's that? I just saw it.
I mean, if they're
3 year, is it
willing,
the 3 year, $100 million deal?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 30 something per.
No, it's 3 years, $102 million contract. He signed it in 2021. The deal included player opt-outs after each of his first 2 seasons. His last appearance in the MLB game was in June of 2021. He made 17 starts for the Dodgers before being suspended.
But he's pitched a lot though. I watched him in those little videos.
He does it
makes
with that
Asian guy.
that Asian guy, the King Jabroni guy, and
Yeah,
dude,
Yeah.
he's always throwing stuff to him.
he's got a $15 million buyout too. So I mean, if they buy him out, then
15,
whoever picks him
okay.
up would have to sign him to a new contract.
Okay, so that's not
I'd use him as a
terrible.
1-year rental if it was for free.
Because if he
yeah, so
plays,
they
if
might
he
buy
if he
him out.
plays this year, he's gonna have to get paid $35 million by the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
They're
I
not
would
going to
take
pay
him as a
$35
1-year
million to go
rental.
be a World Series pitcher for the Yankees.
Especially
You're
if he
gonna
was
buy-
free. If he was free, that's the best 1-year rental you could ever ask for.
Or the Minnesota Twins when he signs with there.
Yeah, I mean, who's got nothing going for him right now?
They said he
Yeah,
could
if
also
you-
opt out of his contract, but I don't think he would do that. I think he would leave the pressure on the Dodgers, who actually turned their back on him.
That'd be a smart business move. Absolutely put the pressure on them to make a move. I like
It's
that.
crazy. It's crazy.
That whole thing is weird, and I shouldn't say that I'm shocked that players came out, especially it is weird that it's already leaking out, but I mean because the news came that he's back, it's like, okay, that's going to generate
That
some
came out of
headlines,
nowhere
but-
too. Like, I want to know what
Yeah.
happened. I haven't done enough
yeah.
homework on that. Where like I want to know like where MLB was like, you know what, we screwed up.
Oh, I think they screwed up by just kind of jumping to conclusions. If he was already, it seemed like there was already charges against him that he was already appealing, meaning they kind of smeared his name, I think, in a way. And
Yeah.
who knows what all was true with that incident, but
Yep. And it's such a sensitive topic because like I want to say
yeah,
in any sport, if someone is proven innocent, you shouldn't be able to suspend him because obviously Deshaun Watson was suspended. That's different. That's different in my opinion. But like the whole Zeke thing we talk about all the time, like this, like if
Yeah,
I'm proven innocent in a court of law, there should be no reason for you to suspend me just because you feel like I was wrong.
And
Yeah.
Bauer has proof that it was consensual.
Yep.
He threw it all out there on the internet, all out there. He
An innocent man's not doing that. An innocent
he
man
threw
is not
text
taking-
messages like she wanted. She asked for like it was she. I don't know the full story. I'm not gonna give like my full opinion because who knows what went on in that bedroom. But
Yeah,
based off what he put out
Well,
there,
I take that back. I mean, a guilty man is not going out there like that. Look at Deshaun
yes,
Watson.
yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't say a peep. A
Yep.
guilty man is not going to go out there and defend himself like he did. If you got
Yeah.
nothing to hide, you're going all out.
Yeah.
You're going all
that's
out.
a great point.
yeah,
So anyway, MLB prospects who can make their debut in 2023. I only wrote a couple of them down. The New York Yankees, and I hope this happens. Anthony Volpe, shortstop, #1 prospect in the Yankees farm system. MLB's #5 overall prospect. He is coming off a 20 home run, 50 steal season in the minors, and 50 steals hasn't been done since 1995. Andrew Jones did it, and he should be starting somewhere in the Yankees organization, whether it's third base, shortstop, second base. They got to get him up there. The Twins. Now I might botch this name. Edouard Julian, second baseman, #14 overall, draws walks on a high rate, 110 in 2021, 98 in 2022. Did a lot of damage last year in Double-A, batting 300, 441, and a 490 on base percentage.
bring him all the way up. Just bring
Then
him up.
hit. This is the kicker.
Yes.
He hit 400 with an OPS of 1.249. That's Aaron Judge level to earn the Arizona Fall League Breakout Player of the Year. So that would be huge
Yes.
if it's now that they don't have Correa. They
Come
can
on,
start bringing up
Ace.
these young
Come on,
guys.
Ace.
Well,
The Phillies.
they get
the
rid
Phillies.
of Arise.
No, why would you want to do that? Move him to
I'm-
another position.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
The Phillies, this is an awesome one. Andrew Painter, a right-handed pitcher, the #1 prospect in their farm system. MLB's #24 overall. Doesn't turn 20, which is amazing, until April, and
Wow.
only has 109 and 2/3 professional innings on his resume. But he dominated at 3 different levels last year, including Double-A, and he earned MLB's Pipeline Pitcher of the Year honors. They said you could see him up in the Phillies rotation in 2023. Rockies, because I live in Denver now, I really don't care about the Rockies. But Zach Veen, or Zach Vern, or Veen, outfielder, #1 prospect in their farm system. MLB's #23. Struggled in Double-A in 2022, but righted his ship in the AFL, hitting .333 and drawing a ton of walks and swiping 16 bags. Not as good as Volpe though, 50, but we'll take
Come
that,
on
I
now.
guess. The Pirates, Andy Rodriguez. This guy is amazing. He plays catcher, second base, and outfield. Number 6 prospect in the Pirates organization. MLB's number 97. He can flat out rake, reaching AAA and finishing with combined 323, 407, and 590 stat line with 25 homers. The Pirates signed Austin Hedges to bridge the gap to Rodriguez or Henry Davis, but Rodriguez can hit his way behind the plate or play second base or be out in the outfield at multiple positions.
Pirates have been more spenders this offseason than ever. I mean, they're not signing like huge stars, but they're spending more money than they've ever spent.
Yeah. And there were a couple signings. Longoria, Ty and I talked about this earlier. Longoria agrees to a 1-year deal with the Diamondbacks. He turns 37. It's the first time in his 15-year career that he's a free agent, and he only played 170 games in the last 2 seasons. And the Dodgers signed JD Martinez, and this shows you how dumb the Dodgers are. At the trade deadline, the Dodgers were offering players and stuff for Boston, but the price never came down. And 4 months later, they ended up getting their guy for nothing anyway. The freaking Red Sox I don't know what's going on with them. Their GM is in so much trouble after all the guys they lost up there. But the 35-year-old ended up his season with the Red Sox last year with the 790 OPS, had 43 doubles and 16 home runs. Dangerous against lefties, posting a 998 OPS. With the addition of Martinez and Nolan Syndergaard, the payroll is projected to be at $210 million for the Dodgers, $23 million below the competitive balance tax.
Wait, they signed Noah Syndergaard too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. So is Martinez is he going to be a DH? Because he can't really play the field.
He's probably going to be more of a DH.
Okay. So then I'm glad we got Gallo. I'm glad we got Gallo, the Twins from the Dodgers, because
I don't think Gallo will be that bad of an addition for you because of the shift.
Yeah,
I could be wrong because he still strikes out a lot, but that could work out for you.
Plus,
he does hit the ball hard when he hits it.
I have a contest for the Twins. I think if you want to draw fans in the stands, you do either a lookalike contest or you do like a Tinder kind of match thing with Gallo, Kepler, and a couple other Twins, because those dudes. Gallo's an attractive, like 6'5", he's a big dude. That'll be fun for game night one night, just to get fans in the stands, I think.
All right. Well, you guys want to break down some of these games coming up this week?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, how about we start with Dallas, Dad? Why don't you give us the recap of Dallas? Because in my opinion, a Tennessee Titans team I know Dallas had their injuries, but Tennessee Titans, 22 of their guys on the injury reserve, a quarterback that's only been there for 8 days. A lot closer of a game than I think anyone expected. I know Dak, that one interception wasn't on him. I think there should be a category for interceptions forced by their own receivers. Dobbs, in my opinion, who I've liked since the preseason for the Browns, he played very well, and his receivers did not help him at all. I think that game's a lot closer if his receivers catch some of those balls he threw. I want to know what you think, Dak, because I'm not gonna sit here and blast out. I didn't watch the full game. I watched most of the game. I like your backup running back, the rookie from Florida, Davis. He looked really good. He ran well. Zeke scored a touchdown. I think that's 9 consecutive games he's got a touchdown now. I mean,
they put up
I think, hey, you won 12 games, 12-game season again, wins, but I think that game, I think y'all need to play a little better before you get the playoffs, in my opinion.
All right. I'm going to break down. The thing I'm not worried about the offense. The offense is amazing. Since Dak returned, Dallas is the league best 55.7% success rate on third down. They average almost 36 points a game. Dak and Joe Burrow are tied with the only quarterbacks with 5 games with 75% or higher completion rating. I can give you some stats on that other one too. 4 games for 75% or higher is Geno Smith, Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, Justin Herbert. 3 games with 75% or higher, Kirk Cousins and Jacoby Brissett. The only reason I mentioned those other guys is because they're all going into the playoffs, basically. Joe Burrow, Cousins, Lawrence. Anyway, I think the Cowboys will be fine. I mean, they have 5 wins against teams with at least 8 wins. No other team has more than 3. They have 3 wins against teams that have 11 wins, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Bengals. Defensively, we're in trouble. I mean, that's my biggest thing. And that's why before we came on and you asked me the question, I said one and done. I think defensively, we are in bad shape. I mean, we have 3 cornerbacks who didn't start last year playing. We lost our defensive tackle, Hankins, who with a pec tear, who could be back. I mean, we just lost our freaking Our center, Biotish, who has a high ankle sprain, who knows when he's coming back. Two of our safeties got banged up in the game last night. I mean, Ian, who's an Eagles fan, goes, I cannot believe the injuries that are happening. It seemed like every place somebody was getting hurt. Van Der Esch is out. We don't know when he's getting back. If people are just, we're not getting the pressure on the quarterback. We had 2 sacks last night for the first time in like 4 games. That's my biggest fear. I mean,
the depth at this point in the season, that hurts. The depth really hurts when you're losing
absolutely.
guys that are
And I mean,
backups too, to some degree, some of them.
The turnovers I'm not worried about because half those interceptions Dak's throwing are not his fault. I mean, you can't put a ball in a guy's hand, he bobbles it and it goes to the defender and say that's the quarterback's fault.
Yep.
You can't blame him. Dak's playing. I think Dak is having one of his best years, and everyone sees 12, 13, 14 interceptions, whatever he has now, but you got to take half of them away. Half of those are not his fault. He's throwing passes in the coverage that I always said he always had to throw receivers. He could never throw receivers open. He's doing that now. He's not afraid to throw into tight windows. He's using his legs. Offensive line is getting a little beat up, so they're kind of getting pressure on him more. Yesterday, I don't know why we kept running the ball. I mean, Zeke couldn't get anywhere through that hole. I mean, Tennessee does have the second best run
defense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always, if you watch my texts on my tweets, I'm always saying Cowboys need to go up tempo. The Dallas Cowboys are at their best when they're up tempo, and they don't give with all those receiving weapons you have.
That first drive they did it, didn't they?
Yeah, they
Ty looks good. Ty, that's a great fit.
They do go away from it, and I think that's a great fit. And I think overall they're going to be able to match the team offensively. So I completely agree with you, Chris. It's just staying healthy on the defensive side and continuing to rely on that pass rush that kind of taking you to this point. Because without a healthy pass rush, you're right, it's going to be difficult to win games in a shootout.
You guys end on the road. Regardless. Who do you end with?
Washington, and they just said they're going to start.
I need you to beat them. I need you to beat them.
Carson Wentz is starting the rest of the season. But anyway, I have an interesting stat. You know, everyone calls King Henry the best running back in football. Zeke and him were both drafted in 2016. Since 2016, Henry has 8,226 yards. Zeke has 8,254 yards. Average yards per game, Zeke averages 81.3. Henry averages 81.4. The only thing that there's a difference is Zeke has 68 rushing touchdowns. Henry has 78. So
yeah, but the only thing, wait.
He's not a king.
Hold a second. Hold a second.
Comparable.
What you have to also remember is Zeke started since day one. Yeah. Derrick Henry had DeMarco Murray in front of him. He didn't start his rookie season, and he barely started his second season. He didn't start going until his third year when he broke out against that Jacksonville.
I could say the same thing. I can say the same thing. Zeke has been playing with another running back and splitting. I mean, he's only getting 15 carries a game now.
Tony Pollard looks better right now anyway. But anyways, who would you rather tackle, Zeke Elliott or a guy that looks like a freaking brick wall coming at you?
Zeke. There's a lot of guys that say they don't want to get hit by Zeke. But
Zeke falls forward too. Not that Henry doesn't, but he's like, he always seems like he's getting you 1 to 2 yards, even if it looks like a lost play.
Here's why I need y'all to beat Commanders. I want to tell Ace this little stat here, Ace, because the Commanders have the last wild card spot at 7-7-1, right? There are 3 teams that are 7-8, right? Saints are right below them at 6-9. They're tied with the Panthers, but they play the Panthers last game there. So if they went out,
they'll get in
8-9. So if those 4 teams can lose out or even a tie with us, because I don't know how the tie record would go, Saints only 1 game out of the wild card spot, because the division is going to be hard to win with Tampa Bay. But I just want to throw that stat out there that the wild card spot is a tight race right now.
Yeah. Well, I have one quick stat on the Cowboys, and later on, if you want to talk, we could talk about some. I have playoff teams, and we can talk about them then. But the Cowboys, let's see, where is it? Cowboys takeaways. They're the only team in NFL history to lead the NFL in takeaways in consecutive seasons since the 1972-74 Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cowboys had 34 takeaways last year, the most in the NFL. They have 32 this year. So the defense is still getting turnovers and takeaways, but the problem is we have too many young bodies out there that haven't. I mean, when you go against these tough playoff teams, if we happen, and let's face it, the way it's set up now, we're the number 5 seed. If we win that first game, we get the Eagles round 2.
Doesn't it just seem like
in Philly?
Oh, you play the Eagles? Oh my God! Nobody wants to play. We'll talk about that. No, I'm not. I won't bring it up yet. Is it a foregone conclusion that Dobbs starts against the Jaguars for the Titans?
100%.
Malik Willis. They said it today.
Okay.
Malik Willis hasn't even hit 100 yards passing in 4 games that he's been playing.
They
Yeah,
announced
this
it
guy looks
today.
sharp.
Dobbs is starting. Willis
Okay.
is the backup.
Dobbs is a good
Okay.
quarterback. He played great in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I love seeing guys get an opportunity to play and they play well. All right, well, you guys want to do some Week 17 predictions, and then we'll go into the playoffs like you want to talk about?
Let's.
'Cause
Well, you want to
I
talk?
only got
You
a
want to talk
couple.
about? You want to talk about Derek Carr quick?
Go ahead. Let's do it.
Derek Carr
Oh,
benching. I
should
mean,
we
and
we're not going to
Devontae
pile
Adams.
on, huh? Are we going to
Devontae
pile on
Adams.
like every other?
no.
I'm kidding.
Derek Carr, who has the second longest active streak as a starting quarterback with 91, he's only behind Tom Brady with 108. Obviously, he is not going to get the start. And let's face it, it's financials. If Carr would get hurt, they would owe him $34 million of next year's salary, and they would owe him $7 million of the 2024 salary. If they cut him, it's only a $5 million cap hit. The Raiders are going to save almost.
They want to trade him though. They want to trade him.
They're going to save $29 million if they cut him. Where do you think he ends up? And let's face it, Devontae Adams is the only guy that's really speaking out and supporting him. Everyone else is
he's the only reason why he's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, that's bold.
That can't feel good as a franchise. Your number one receiver saying that. You're like, oh God, here we go.
I have a list of potential possibilities and see what you guys think. I mean, ESPN listed 5 quarterbacks who could replace him. Tom Brady, former OC Josh McDaniels, and Brady is a free agent. Baker, who has shown a lot over the last 3 games and is a free agent, could be a cheap option. Mac Jones, especially if Tom goes back to New England, which is rumors saying Mac Jones could be out. He had a great season with McDaniels in 2021. And here's the kicker. Aaron Rodgers, if he misses the playoffs and a reunion with Adams is possible. And the last one I have on the list, number 5, Daniel Jones, could be a stopgap option who's having his best year of his career, likely to become a free agent.
Interesting.
Doesn't it seem like if Brady wants to retire or doesn't want to go for the Raiders,
he doesn't want to retire. He said he's not retiring.
But then they'd consider. I feel like Mac Jones is an afterthought unless they don't want Brady, because McDaniels, I don't think Brady wants to go back to New England. The only reason he wants to go play probably with the Raiders is because of McDaniels in that offense. It would be easy for them to pick up. If he's thrown to Devontae, are you kidding me? Plus, you have Darren Waller down the middle.
And Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah. Can't forget about him. Let's do the opposite. I think it's very likely Brady ends up there. Or now that San Francisco had Garoppolo, that injury, I could see Brady landing in one of those 2 spots. What about Carr, though? You had mentioned Carr. This is
the list I have for Carr. I have number 1. I have the New Orleans Saints. I think him in the Saints. I think with the weapons the Saints have, I think he could be a good fit. Number 2, I have the Atlanta Falcons. Number 3, I have the Titans. Number 4, I have the Jets. Number 5, I have Houston. Number 6, I have the Giants. Number 7, I have Washington. Number 8, I have New England. Number 9. I have Tampa Bay. Number 10, I have the 49ers. And number 11, I have the Colts.
I was going to say the Colts.
I think the Colts are definitely a top 5 up there.
What about why not the Texans? Why not the Texans for a couple years? If they're going to draft a quarterback,
heck no, the Texans are going to draft a quarterback. The Texans have a great spot to pick a quarterback. There's no shot they're going to get it up for a quarterback that has 0 playoff wins.
I can see the Texans getting CJ Stroud
as a stopgap for. Yeah, you play him, play Carr as a stopgap. God,
no, because what if Carr goes off? You're not going to bench Carr for a first-round pick.
I think Carr's going to go where he has a chance to win. I don't think the Texans give him that option yet.
Here's my thing with the Saints.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would I take Derek Carr? Absolutely. If it was like a 2nd round and 5th round pick like they're talking about. Yeah. This stat is the thing that questions me, because I think Carr has a higher ceiling than any quarterback the Saints have. I do. And I don't know who will get in a draft. If Sean Payton gets traded, maybe we get a 1st-round pick. He's thrown more picks and taken more sacks and scored fewer touchdowns than any Saints QB combined over the past 2 seasons. All right, that's a low stat. He has made 0 playoff appearances. I like Derek Carr. I agree. I think if you had the right talent around him, maybe he could play well. I mean, there's a lot of talent around him this year. I mean, I know Renfrow was injured.
But they went to the playoffs last year.
I know Darren Waller was injured.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, too,
I don't know.
He's under a new system. He's with McDaniels, who has probably one of the hardest freaking offensive mind and schemes in football. So we've always defended him on that, because I think he's had like 5 different coaches and schemes and stuff that he's had the past couple of seasons. Don't get me wrong, I'll take him in New Orleans. If you only want a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick, I'll give it to you. I got no quarterback. I got no 1st-round pick right now. I would happily take him. He's free. I would take him with Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and now you got Rashid Shaheed, and you still have Alvin Kamara. Heck yeah, that's an awesome team for him to throw to. If he can't compete with a team like that,
then that's on Derek Carr.
And the key is you're going to have a healthy line next year.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I'll take him. I'm curious to see how he plays, though, because I do agree with some of these reporters. I think there's inconsistency. I mean, they went 10-7 last year. He played great, making the playoffs the first time ever. And I know they always haven't had the greatest team. But you look at the year they did go to the playoffs, so he got injured. They had good talent, and he played well. So I think when you do build talent around him, he can play. I'm not saying I wouldn't take him. I'll take him.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you guys something.
I'm worried about it, though.
Let me ask you guys something.
I don't know if the Saints have a worse or better record with Derek Carr this year or not.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know.
Like, it just
well, no, it's injuries. But what I'm going to ask you guys this: why do we always blame the quarterback? Why do we always blame the quarterback? Like, they're like, listen, but listen, they're bashing Russ, and it's not Russ's fault. There's no offensive line there. A new coach, new scheme. Who they all just fired everybody. A new scheme, but how can you blame a quarterback who's under a new scheme for the first year? I mean, the guy was so confused. He's calling out freaking audibles from Seattle. That's on him. But I'm just saying, how can you blame anyone on the Saints organization as far as the quarterback goes when your offensive line is beat up? How can you blame Derek Carr when you're in a situation where you have a new offensive scheme mind and you have receivers who get hurt? You don't have much of an offensive line. I mean,
I think quarterbacks
there is too much weight put on them. I definitely agree.
But I think quarterbacks are held to a high standard because you're the leader of the team. The ball is in your hands. It's your job to do study for the film. It's your job to prepare for battle. And I agree. I think Russell Wilson has had no time to pass the ball, but I also think Russell Wilson has been a distraction. I don't think he's played the Russell Wilson that we've seen in Seattle. I mean, even in Seattle, he didn't always have the greatest line. And his great talent was being able to run out of the pocket and make spot on throws, and you have not seen that in Denver. And I don't know if he's got some kind of arm issue going on, but he does not look like the same Russell Wilson.
But the thing comes down to what we always talked about: timing and working with these players.
Wish
in the
I had that
season.
service.
If you don't have those 100% preseason games,
100%.
and you don't have that timing down, and timing's everything. But the thing is it's 53 players on that team. And we're always blaming one person. That's the quarterback. The
only reason I think Derek Carr has taken a lot of heat this year.
Everything just points to why they get the most blame. Everything around.
Yeah. But I think the main reason that a lot of people are giving him a hard time this year. I mean, you look at Derek Carr last year, 10-7, they go to the playoffs. We all talked. This is the team that's going to win this. This is the best division in football. Was one of the worst this year. You get Devontae Adams, your playoff team. After going to the playoffs last year, we all sat here and was like, "That's the piece. You got a good running back who's going to need a contract. He's going to play well." And nothing has molded well in that team this year so far.
But I disagree with you. I disagree with you with that one segment that you just said. Sure, you signed that piece, but the problem is you got rid of your whole offense. That's Davis's fault. Davis is an idiot for firing that coach. The players played hard for that coach that filled in for Gruden. They wanted him back. They let him go and brought in McDaniels. They brought in the big name, and look what happened. Your team went to shit. That's on Davis, the owner. Mm-hmm. You kept that team, and you kept that offense that was clicking, and you brought in Devontae Adams to add to that system. I guarantee you they're a playoff team.
Yeah, another thing, too, is you look at a quarterback to hide some of these mistakes, meaning that, like, especially Carr and Wilson, they've seen enough defenses in their life that no matter what the play call is, they should know what coverage the defense is in at the very least, which should give them an advantage over a rookie or second year, a younger player. So it's like, I think that's where Carr takes a ton of the blame too, where it's like they highlighted some of the passes he made against the Steelers this week that were just like not good, just bad accuracy, number one. And he wasn't, just bad timing, which is not good.
I mean, I'm not trying to blame the quarterbacks all the time. I just think if you've been a vet and you've been in this league for some time, it's either you have it or you don't. You can either make these teams good or you can't. I mean, we've seen Tom Brady's the GOAT because he never always had the greatest offense and he was able to win with them. Same with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I don't know. I like Carr. I hope the best for him. If he comes to New Orleans and wins games, I'll be happy for him.
Brady didn't take a sack in last week's game. I'm pretty sure you might have said that too, Chris, but there's like the fact that at his age, he can't move out of the pocket. He's still not getting sacked is so impressive.
Yeah, but look at the difference now. They brought in a new head coach. They brought in Bowles to be the head coach. I mean, they still have Leftwich as their offensive coordinator, but who knows if that head coach wanted to make changes to some of the play calling. Then he lost Jensen, one of his best offensive linemen. His running game is shit. Fournette's not
Yeah.
doing anything. Now, guess what? You have a guy that has to rush the ball, and he's one of the fastest guys releasing the ball in the NFL. Now you have no line. There's so much pressure on him. And guess what? He's overthrowing people, or the timing is off. He doesn't have that same time as he had on that Super Bowl run. So that makes a big difference. And now
I do agree though that
some
some coaches ruin things. I agree with that. I think some coaches, players have great chemistry with the playbooks they call and just the coaching that they have, and then you bring in a new coach, and it just doesn't mold well.
That's
I absolutely
that's the
disagree.
Saints in a nutshell too. Honestly,
It is 100%.
I disagree what happened with the Saints. I think they had a good format. You brought in a new coach. It changed everything. And the same thing would happen with Denver. Denver has a great defense. And guess what? When they signed Russell Wilson, everyone said Super Bowl. Oh, this is the savor and grace. But you didn't realize all the problems you had on offense before you signed Russell Wilson. And you never fixed those problems. So bringing in Russell Wilson, it wasn't going to take you to the Super Bowl. It's just a name. But you fixed that offensive line. He has the receivers there with Sutton and Judy. And I think he has Hunter Renfrow or not.
Sutton got injured though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you have those guys there. You have those weapons there. You get the offensive line fixed this year, and you get a running game, and you're going to see a different Russell Wilson.
I do think if he just played a little bit better, though, I think that coach stays.
I don't know if that guy came from the Packers. Something tells me they wanted to get Aaron Rodgers, but I don't want to. We're going down. I don't want to go down rabbit hole.
Why don't we talk about the playoff predictions? Because we're running a little bit out of time here.
But real quick, Jalen Hurts again is officially listed as doubtful against the Saints, so I need the Saints to win. That would be awesome. They're also missing Lane Johnson, who has an abdomen tear,
and
Avonte Maddox,
Maddox,
who had an amazing game against the Cowboys. Also, AJ Brown was limited in practice with a knee injury. So Gardner Minshew, who was 24-40 with 355 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions against the Cowboys, will be playing. Eagles need one more victory to clinch number 1 seed. I hope they do not get it. I hope the Cowboys get the number 1 seed.
I hope the Vikings get the number 1 seed.
Hey, well, the Saints lose, they're done, so they got a lot on the line this week.
Okay, playoff teams. Then this is the question I'm asking you guys. Who won't go far in the playoffs? I have the Giants, the Washington Redskins, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC. Listen.
Commanders here. Commanders. Come on, keep it clean.
And I have
the Command.
I said Washington.
Yeah, you said Washington Redskins.
Anyway, in the AFC, I had the Jags, the Ravens, and the Dolphins not going far in the playoffs. You guys agree or disagree?
You said the Jags, the Dolphins?
Jags, Ravens, and Dolphins in the AFC, and the Giants, Washington, and Tampa Bay won't go far.
Heck, man, I don't even know if the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs.
I like those teams.
Yeah,
honestly, I could see the Jags shocking a lot of people.
Yes, I think the Jags, and I don't even want to bring this up, but I could the way the Vikings had played, I could see them getting trounced by like a hot team coming in.
My thing, Ace, is I said you guys have all these last minute victories. I said, watch, you'll get to the playoffs and all that magic's gone.
Yeah. Now my teams that won't make it past the second round. Teams that won't make it past the second round in the NFC. Listen, I have the Eagles if they don't have Hurts. I have Minnesota, and I have the Dallas Cowboys. I think Minnesota defensively, they're going to have problems. I think Dallas with their injuries are going to have problems. And I think Eagles, if they don't have Hurts, I don't think they're going to make it past the second round. In the AFC side,
could you imagine like a Nick Foles situation, though, if Gardner Minshew takes him to the Super Bowl?
Oh, my God, yes.
But on the AFC
the 49ers, side, I could see – sorry.
Go, oh, sorry, no, you're good. You're good.
I could totally see that crap. God.
I'm trying to avoid that because I don't want to see that. But on the AFC side, I have the Chargers and I have Kansas City, who I see that could lose in the second round, possibly.
Man, Kansas City's quiet, man. I think no one's talking about them, man.
They've been struggling though. They've been using a lot of magic to get some victories.
I think Kansas City's going to the Super Bowl again, unless Burrow can beat them.
Really? I think this Monday's game is going to be the championship game as well. Bills versus Bengals.
Oh,
my top my top 2 teams from each division in the NFC, I have the 49ers and I have the Eagles with Hurts. I think with Hurts, I think no one's going to stop them. That's going to be your NFC championship game, 49ers Eagles. AFC, I have the Bills in Cincinnati. I have that as my championship game. I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl and winning it all, honestly. If Dallas does get by the Eagles, I don't think they make it past the 49ers.
I was going to ask.
Brock Purdy, man.
Do you guys think that the 49ers have the best defense, at least in the NFC? Maybe
I do, yeah.
league?
I do, 100%.
That makes me nervous.
I still think they're a beatable team, though. I mean,
if you can get pressure on their offense,
That's why I want the Vikings. I do not want I want to beat the Packers this week and just win out so we can at least get second. I want
Better
home
hope you beat
field
the Packers. I
advantage.
actually need you to beat the Packers. And if the
Yes, yeah, you
Packers can
do.
lose, that gives me closer to the wild card. I just need the Saints to win out, first of all.
True. Yeah, true.
Like if Dallas had the defense that played Minnesota, I'd say Dallas is going to go to the NFC Championship game. But
Yeah.
with the holes they have, I don't see it. Some interesting notes, real quick. The Giants have never started a season 6-1 and missed the playoffs. I think they're almost a lock now. I think especially if they win this week, and they have to play the Eagles too yet. So
hey, if they win though,
in.
if they win this week, it will be the first time since 2016 they'll be going to the playoffs.
Yeah. And Cincinnati is the only team with 5 players who have over 600 scrimmage yards in the NFL, which is awesome because they're really clicking right now.
Oh wow!
Now
That's an
I have a key
interesting
stat. I have a key stat, and this is what helped me pick my playoff teams. Records versus over 500 teams. The Dallas Cowboys are 5-1. The Eagles are 3-1. The 49ers are 2-1. The top 3 teams right now in the NFC have good records against 500 teams. Buffalo, Kansas City, and Minnesota are 3-2. Jacksonville is 3-3. Cincinnati is 2-2. Every other team has a losing record. The Saints are 0-4. Baltimore is 1-3. Miami is 2-5. Tampa Bay is 1-4. The Giants are 1-4. But Baltimore, Miami, Tampa Bay, these are all possible playoff teams, and they have records of under 500 against them.
Anything happens in the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more interesting thing:
those stats are out the
defense,
window once you get to the playoffs.
I know. Anyway, this makes the podcast interesting. Eagles defense is allowing points off turnovers. Weeks 1 through 8, when they turned over the ball on offense, 0 points. 1 through 8, they didn't allow teams to benefit off the turnovers. Week 9 through 10, week 9 the Commanders had 10 points. Week 10 the Colts had 6 points. Week 11 the Packers had 7 points. Week 14 and 15 the Bears had 7 and the Cowboys had 20. So the defense, you get to the end of the season, the defense is starting to bend but not break, so they're allowing more points. So if they don't have Hurts and your defense, which was stellar throughout the whole season, starts turning like that, that's what I mean about the Eagles. I mean, I don't see them going far. But if they have Hurts, different season, they're going to the NFC Championship.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
I like that stuff.
Those are good nuggets.
Yeah.
Good little nuggets.
You want to go over your picks now for this week?
Go around the league?
Yeah. We'll do a couple picks I have here. Week 17, we got the Lions and Bears. Lions host the Bears, needing a win to keep the playoff hopes alive. They are putting themselves in the playoff picture by winning one of the hottest teams in the NFL by winning 6 of their last 7, barely losing to Buffalo. I want to take the Lions here. I'm taking the Bears because I need the Bears to win. Jay, just want to show you something. This is the quiet year that golf's having that no one's talking about. He has 3,959 passing yards with 26 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. Tell me that's not your franchise quarterback. Justin Fields, by the way. Justin Fields, by the way, 1,000 yards rushing with 8 touchdowns.
Dude, the Lions had a bad loss last week, though, man, to Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
They got blown out.
Bad loss.
They played better at home, too. So a part of me wants to pick the Lions, but to help tie out, the Bears are
Let's go.
Bears are going to, I mean, you can't stop Fields, number one. I don't know how good their defense is.
One of the worst
Lions have been playing better
in the league. So
yeah,
they allowed over 400
I like
points
the Lions,
year.
man, but I need them to lose. I don't want them to go to playoffs. I want the Saints to go.
I'm going Lions because I like Dan Campbell. I think what he's doing with his team.
I like him.
This team is amazing. I mean, they should be 8-7, going for their 9th win of the season.
Man, they should have only like 5
them.
or 4 losses on the year. Let's be real.
I'm on the Dan Campbell bandwagon just because he's from the Cowboys. I love Dan Campbell, and I just think the Lions are going to win this game.
Oh,
Vikings are seeking to complete the regular season sweep of the Packers this week as they're in Green Bay, aren't they? They're in Lambeau, aren't they? Oh, yeah, man. Let's see. Green Bay. Green Bay is fighting for a playoff picture. This is another win that I need you guys to take care of, Ace, for me. I am taking the Vikings this week.
Yes, sir.
I know Aaron Rodgers is getting a little hot, a little frisky. The wide receivers are clicking.
They won 3 in a row, man.
Taking the Vikings.
Vikings with Kirko chains. I'm calling it. Going to be rocking them coming back home after a big freaking victory. He's played well against the Packers the last couple years.
And it's at home. Come on now.
Well, it's at Lambeau.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, I don't know why I was saying that. I knew that.
Let's make it home field or our second home away from home, whatever they call that. Your home away from home. All right, I'm rambling, but I would love to see them go in there and beat them,
Mm.
take home. Maybe the Eagles lose, maybe they don't. If they don't, who cares? I think we wrap up the second seed, which is huge because I do not want to have to play the 49ers if we get there, or Dallas in their stadium. We have absolutely zero chance to win the Vikes. Zero chance if we're outside of there. But if we're at the bank, I'll spend my money there.
Banks
all
cashing.
day.
Come on now. I
Bank-
like
yeah,
that.
bank is
I'm
open.
spending my money. You taking that?
Man,
I'm
I'm going Minnesota. I'm going Minnesota. Minnesota's going to win
Cash it
another
in.
freaking. They're
Cash
going to
it
win
in.
another close one. I mean,
Yeah.
the Packers' last 3 wins aren't against impressive teams. They beat the Bears, the Rams, and the Dolphins. Vikings win by 1 score again for the 12th time this season.
We'll do 2 more here. We got a big game, kind of Dolphins versus Patriots. Both teams hoping to get in the playoffs. Without Tua, the Dolphins need to find a way to win to reach the playoffs. They have a 4-game losing streak and need to win 1 or possibly both to reach the playoffs. I'll take. I need to think about this for a second.
Who's the quarterback for Miami?
Teddy
Is it
Bridgewater.
Teddy
Probably the last time he'll have an
Bridgewater.
opportunity to fight and show, hey, I could be the starting quarterback here. I really want to say I want to take the Patriots, but I mean, if Teddy Bridgewater has all the weapons open for him, I mean, I'm taking the Patriots. I'm sorry. Dolphins have a 4-game losing streak. I don't see him win. I'm taking the Patriots.
Dolphins are free falling right now. They are in a tumbling, and Tua.
They got so many weapons. So many
Lost
weapons.
4 in a
do.
row, man.
His stats aren't bad either. He's almost got 4,000 passing yards and almost 30 touchdowns.
Tua has taken some nasty hits this year, and I don't know if he can. I've never had a concussion, but
Yeah.
It took Darrisaw, the Vikings left tackle, 3 weeks to recover, and he only had 1. This was coming off 1. This is multiple in 1 year.
I know.
I don't know how he plays again. So therefore, Patriots win. Dolphins, I think, miss the playoffs because of this.
I agree.
Patriots are they didn't stop Fields, they didn't stop Hurts, they don't stop running quarterbacks, but Bridgewater is not.
Well, Mac Jones doesn't run, so they're pretty safe there.
yeah.
I'm going the other way. I'll be the lone wolf. I'm going Miami. Miami, they stopped their skid, and I'm going to take Miami. They're going to find a way to win.
Last one we'll do here. New Orleans going into Philadelphia. Saints are fighting with everything they have in them for a playoff chance. Eagles are trying to clinch that number 1 seed. Gardner Minshew probably starting with Jalen Hurts is doubtful. A lot of injuries here. Like you said, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson still not playing. He was hoping to come back against the Saints. Maddox is out. That's huge. Lane Johnson is out. But the Saints have an offensive lineman. Andrews Pete, he's out. Marcus May, our safety, is out. Lattimore is questionable to return, though. Hopefully he returns
That's
the first
huge.
time in 10 games. Last 5 games, Saints are 3-2. Eagles are 4-1. Saints are 4-1 outdoor cold games in the past couple of seasons. They were able to pull off a victory in 5-degree weather last week against Cleveland, getting Taysom Hill involved. I'm taking the Eagles, not the Eagles. Scott, I'm taking the Saints all day, baby. I need them to win.
I heard it. Take that cut.
I need them to win. I think
Saved. It's
if
saved.
the Saints can continue to play with that offense, that's 2 wins in a row during all season. If they can get 3 wins in a row, that's huge. Our defense is banged up still, but I think we're playing very well. And I think we have a shot to win. I think it's 90% people are picking the Eagles to win, but I think the Saints have a chance if they can hold the offense down and just play the ball they know.
Where's the game at?
In Philly.
Why is it always in Philly? Why do you just always play them in Philly?
We just
does
played
seem
them
like that.
last year, and I think we played in Philly again.
in
we
Philly.
never play Philly at home unless it's the playoffs.
Tough place to play, even with Hurts banged up and likely not going.
You can take the Eagles. You can take the Eagles here. It won't hurt my feelings. I like the underdog.
Saints win. Taysom Hill 2 TDs, 1 pass.
Come on, Ace. I love that. I love that hot take.
Taysom Hill 1.
I love that hot take. I just need the
I'm going
Buccaneers
Saints.
to lose. If the Buccaneers win, it's over for us.
I'm going Saints because I
okay.
need the Saints to beat the Eagles so the Eagles get a lower draft pick, and that the Cowboys still have 1 more week of trying to win the East.
We all
Gosh,
have
Ace,
motives.
fire
We all
me
have
up,
motives.
Ace. Fire me up with that hot take you had
Yo,
there.
We
Taysom Hill
gotta do one more game. We gotta do the game of the freaking
We
week,
do.
man.
Yes.
The Bills, who are on a 6-game win streak, and Cincinnati, who's on a 7-game win
Where's
streak.
that? Where's
the
that?
possible AFC Championship game in Cincinnati.
I'm taking
I'm going-
Cincinnati all day.
I'm
Joe
going-
Burrow, he's going.
Bills Mafia, baby. Bills
I'm
Mafia.
You're gonna
I'm sorry, you're gonna see calm face Joey out there, man. He's gonna be spinning that ball like there's no tomorrow to Jamar Chase. They're Joe Mixon.
Bet the over. Bet the over. Bet the over.
Bet the over.
A part of me wants to say the Bengals too.
Come on, Ace. Come on.
Don't do it. Don't let him pressure you.
Wait, who's got the better record? Who's got the number one?
The Bills. They're 12-3.
Okay, and the Bengals have like 1 game.
11-4. Who has the better defense? The Bills
win.
do.
Bills win. They want to keep that home field up. I think Bills win, baby.
That's gonna be a hot game. I can't wait to watch that. Hey, y'all can either take these bets and cry when you lose because we're not professional. We're professionals in our own world. Or if you win, feel free to Venmo us or Cash App us. If you want to share that the prize win. And y'all have anything else you want to talk about?
Bills have the best score differential in the AFC. So, Bills ride. Let's ride with the Bills Mafia.
Let's ride. Who that baby?
I like that. Bills Mafia. Let's ride.
Oh, that sounds good.
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia. Let's ride.
Riding into that number 1 seed. Everyone is going to Buffalo in January.
If they had to go, so what would be a worse place to play? Buffalo or Philadelphia?
Buffalo. That freaking lake effect snow and that cold coming off Lake Erie, whatever it is. Hell no.
Both number 1 seeds.
I feel like you can. I feel like you score. I feel like you can quiet the Philly crowd pretty quick.
You can. You can.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's my opinion. I'm not an expert.
But the problem is it's tough to play in Philadelphia.
It is tough. 100%. Man. Start that game off, man. If you go 3 and out, it's over for you.
You're done. You get that crowd going, forget it.
Forget it.
But like I said, the key is going to be Jalen Hurts, man. Everyone's saying his injury's worse than they're letting out. So that's
come on, Saints. Even if we don't make playoffs, I want to win this game, babe.
And let me tell you what, Lane Johnson, if he plays in the playoffs like they're saying, he has an abdominal tear. The first thing I'm doing is I'm kneeing him in the stomach.
Come on.
You got to do what you got to do to win.
All right, end this quick, Ty. End this before he says anything.
Hey. We hope you all have a great New Year's Eve and New Year's. We'll see you guys next year. That's as simple as we got it right here. We'll see you next year.
Amen.
All I gotta say is I'm thankful for Ace. Ace, you really helped us with this podcast. It's a lot better with 3 people.
How long? Has this been a year? We got to figure out when Ace came on this with us. It's been at least a year, right?
Might be over that, honestly.
I think it's way over that.
I'm just grateful that we have the.
I was still in PA when you started.
So much easier.
Oh yeah. I appreciate it. I do feel like the middleman kind of breaking up the 2
you do. It feels great, Ace.
Siblings fighting.
Feels
you guys
great.
are almost like siblings fighting to some degree.
Ace, I consider you my son.
Aw. I appreciate that.
Hey, one day we're all going to meet up somewhere and have a podcast in person.
Amen.
In Colorado, in the Rocky Mountains.
Or in the warm weather over here.
I was going to say I'd prefer to be in West Palm Beach now, but I think I can be swayed to Colorado anytime as well.
Yo, I did look at flights, $106 round trip to freaking Fort Lauderdale.
Wait, is that would that be easiest to fly in?
No, PBI is literally 5 minutes for me.
Yeah, but that's not nonstop.
You can fly nonstop. I fly nonstop out of there.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
Well, hey, we hope you all have a great weekend. If you have off, thank God. Go to our picks. I'm sorry, I was losing words for a second there. Didn't know how I wanted to end this.
Still recording.
Hey, that's all we got for the Everything Goes podcast at TAK. Happy New Year's, guys.